go. Can you see me?
I can. What are you, seven more pounds to go after that piss?
Probably just about, not a lot.
Are you jumping on like a OCD every time you pee just to check that scale, or do you give it a little time between?
No, I'm not. I'm just not even worried about it this time around. I don't know. Just I know if I hop in the bath later, it'll be coming off pretty quick. I'm probably just gonna go get a sweat with the sauna suit on later, and then go sit in the tub for probably 30, 40 minutes, and it'll come off.
And you don't use the nail polish remover at all, do you?
No. Well, okay. You
Yeah,
know what? I have been using the sweet sweat. It works really well,
yeah,
but
yeah,
not.
yeah.
It's almost the same thing.
Yeah, pretty. I mean, I'm sure instead of having it be called nail polish remover, somebody eventually got smart enough to move the same formula in. I don't know who the fuck discovered that, by the way. Can you imagine the first person to, I really got to lose a couple sweat pounds. Let me try putting
It's
this chemical on my body for this shit.
seriously because they have such a good deal with fighters and the UFC and all this stuff now that it's massive. Sweet sweat, well, everyone uses it for weight cuts. It's one of the best selling things right now. It's great.
Your ramen shirt's killing it. That's a great shirt. Yeah,
Thank
it's
you. Yeah,
great.
I'll probably have a little ramen tomorrow after weigh-ins. For this promotion though, there's they have 10 a.m. weigh-ins, so I don't have to wait till 4 o'clock to weigh in. That's what I'm going to do most of it tonight. Probably get
Every
on.
every weigh-in should be 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., something like that. When you wake up, that's perfect. You roll out of bed. If you've been able to sleep in, you got the blackened windows. You don't have to wait all day going, God damn it, I want to eat. You can just get it over with, go
Yeah,
about your day.
my last one, I was hurting. I was hurting just because I had to work the night before. This time I took the night off, and I'm not even fighting at 55. But didn't get out of work till 10 o'clock. Didn't get to do any of my cut. Well, I did. I did a cut for like 2 hours, and I was like, shit, I want to get to bed. I need to get at least a good night's sleep. In about 2 hours, I went from 69 to 63. So I'm already stressing. I'm like, I didn't get off as much as I wanted to. Wanted to go to bed around 60, but I wasn't feeling totally sucked dry. So that was good. And then the next morning I woke up, only lost a pound. So I go to the gym. I do my salt bath in the morning, get dressed up, put the sauna suit on, drive to the gym, and then I'm in the sauna blanket at the gym. And Vince, my coach, is like, Theron, your check-in is at 2 o'clock. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yes, the amateurs check-in is at 4. There was a mix-up. The pros got to check in at 2. So you got to go there at 2. Your weigh-ins are at 3. And the amateur check weigh-in was like at 5. So I'm like, here it is, 11:30. We got to drive to Orlando still. I'm stressing. I'm in the blanket. I'm like, fuck. I'm still like 3 pounds over. It's like, so we're driving to Orlando, and Eric, I'm not even kidding. I'm sitting there like just nodding off,
Nodding.
like I felt like I was dying. I don't know. I just felt like I was so stressed and rushed. And then I get there, and my opponent sees me, and I'm like, he can tell I'm sucked. And I go weigh in the bathroom at the hotel, pound and a half over the 1 pound allowance. I'm like, fuck. All right. So I I go to the front desk. I'm like, do you have a gym I can use? They're like, yes. And I was like, is there a sauna? And they're like, yes. Okay, perfect. So I lay her back up, drag the spin bike into the sauna that they had in there. No, actually, quick little fun fact. There was a kids baseball tournament that weekend, and I'm sitting there on the bike, biking and all this shit, just sweating. I look like death. I look horrible. And they're like, hey, are you a fighter? What is there like fights going on? I was like, yeah, guys, there's fights going on this weekend. Like, what are you trying to do? I'm like, oh, I got to lose another pound in 30 minutes or so. Like, wow. I was like, hey, you guys want some really good advice? Like, yeah, sure. Don't do this shit. I was like,
Don't.
keep playing baseball.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't fucking go into fighting. Keep playing baseball. There's more money. You don't have to do dumb shit like this. you don't have to get hit. I was like, trust me, just do this. And they're like, but fighting's so cool. I was like, no, it's not. I was like, it's cool when you're winning, but everything that goes with it sucks.
It's a brutal life to have. Baseball, your biggest thing is, oh, I tweaked a hammy while running to first base. Yeah, I went and took my son. These guys are gently warming up, hitting the ball, just casually grabbing it and whipping the ball to first. And I'm like, that is such a one. It's beautiful day out. The grass is green. There's no real stress on the body. Occasionally somebody will run into a padded wall and you're like, oh, that looks like it's nothing compared to being head kicked, or any other type of thing. It's a hell of a life they live. It's not too bad. And anytime you can play two of something and it takes 8 hours and you're likely not to even get tired, it's a pretty, yeah, that's a pretty decent way to make a living. Your last
Yeah.
fight versus Tommy, we didn't even really talk about it, but that was a hell of a performance. And I think Tommy's going to win, quite a few fights especially if he gets people to the ground.
Shoot,
He
yeah.
skills. He was a little bit overmatched, a lot overmatched on the feet, especially against you. But it was, he's a dangerous fighter on the ground, and you did a damn good job of keeping him where he couldn't really be much of a threat and neutralizing him pretty quickly. But Tommy, to his credit, he's going to be a good fighter, and that was a great performance by you. And then who do we have coming up, and where is it? What time is it? What's the deal in this fight?
Um, yeah, going back to Tommy, really a lot of credit to him. I mean, in the first round, I thought I was ready to put him away, and he put up an armbar that, let me tell you what, if I was in the gym, I would have tapped that right away. Like my elbow the next day, Eric, was bigger than my fist. It swelled up so much. And in the second round, I missed a cross on him and I snapped my elbow. Like when I snapped my arm, I missed the shot and I felt it. I was like, ooh, if I'm feeling this in the fight right there, I was like, sense of urgency. Like, you need to start putting the fight away. This arm's starting to hurt.
Yeah,
So yeah, for him to be his jujitsu sick. His jujitsu
really,
sick.
really high level. Yeah, really high level.
It is for someone to jump a triangle off of the cage. I literally didn't even expect it. Like I thought I was gonna beat him up right there for a minute, and when he jumped the triangle, I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, but this weekend is gonna be against Gus D'Angelo. Um, we're gonna be fighting in Kissimmee on Combat Night MMA, probably the biggest South Florida promotion. Uh, huge Instagram, huge huge following. They got a lot of fighters that end up going to the UFC contender series, stuff like that. So this will be really cool fighting on a bigger stage. Looking forward to it. Gus is this guy's been fighting for a very, very, very long time. There's guys. My coach actually fought his brother, and then both of my coaches fought his brother. Actually, Alon fought his brother, and then Vince fought his brother. So it's just funny how things go full circle. But they've been fighting in the area for a while. Gus had a 6 year layoff before he fought last April, but before that he had a 6 year layoff. And I imagine that was just for his personal life. They opened up a gym, him and his brother,
Yeah.
that they coach out of now. So I know that's what he's been doing. Um, the fight is at 170. It was short notice for me. I think he can fight at 55, so I don't really see that I'm going into undersized at all. I feel like we're both going to be just kind of like if Colby and no, kind of like when Chandler and McGregor are fighting. They're going to fight at 70 or 85. They both are 55ers, but they're going to fight up.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like what this is about to be. But he's probably an inch taller than me, regardless though. But yeah, I'm looking real forward to it. We almost didn't have a fight. The original opponent I was supposed to fight told the promotion that they liked the matchup versus me. And then when we finally agreed, we hear nothing for a week, and then this guy says he doesn't want to fight. So then here we are, 3 week notice. We get fight offer and then says, "I think you should take this. This is a great matchup for you. I think we should take this, and regardless of the weight, he's like, I think your skill set, your way you fight now. He's like, I think this is a really good matchup for you. So we took it. Here we are. Here we are. We made it a fight week, despite all the pitfalls that have come along the way for this fight camp in such a short span.
I was gonna ask two things. One, can you make 55 still?
Yeah, the fight against Tommy was my last two fights were at 55.
So okay, you can, but 170. So 170 is a fucking piece of cake for you to make that. I mean,
Yeah.
This is nothing. Okay.
No, this is nothing. Now this is pretty much I did this whole fight camp once Vince. These days, when I first met you, I was walking around probably 190, 95. Now it's tough for me to walk around 85 or over 85. This whole fight camp, I was around 80, and then I knew I just would have to do a sweat the night before. I think it would just took 2 years to really kind of shave off some of the size that I had and get to a comfortable spot, but. I can't do. I'll be the first to say I can't fight at 55 unless I got a good 5 weeks notice, so that way I can really start dialing things in, weighing in.
Shave all the hair off, shave all the body hair off. You'll make 55 easy. Just get it down. Get that. How intimidating would it be to walk in the ring against somebody with a bald head and no eyebrows? I think that would scare the shit out of everybody. Be like, this motherfucker's crazy.
You know, I probably look scary with a bald head too. Personally, I've never seen myself without the hair for so long, so I don't know how I would look. I would probably look a little scary, but
got a horrible shaped head. People think I'm a serial killer when I look like a friendly person with regular hair, a serial killer without. My wife's like, you look just so hideous with that hair. I'm like, thank you, honey. You're a sweet lady. Thanks for that one.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
But if we're out in public, it's better that people look and think I'm gonna put them in the trunk of my car and cut them in pieces than to be friendly and say hello. For the safety of the family, let me just shave the whole damn thing off. Plus, it's easy. That's actually really exciting that it's local, because that Orlando scene has a really good scene. A lot of pro fighters come out of there. There's a lot of gyms out of there. I mean, I would imagine the support in the crowd, the natural crowd support, just from I'm sure they stacked it with local fighters too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna probably have a really good atmosphere up there. What time does the show start on Saturday?
So this card is so stacked. It's got about 25 fights.
Jesus, yeah.
The amateur card starts at 4. They're estimating it's going to run from 4 to 11. So I would say I'm midway through the main card. I would say I probably won't step in there till close to 9-ish.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, once the full pro card starts, it's usually those things end at like 11, 12 o'clock at night, depending on how they've structured it. Are we allowed to talk about the herpes that you had? I'm sure your opponent's watching. We might as well let him know that he's not allowed to touch you, because you might be, it might give him some communicable disease. I don't know what sort of mental game that is to play, but you're pretty much untouchable in that ring right now. How's your disease doing?
It totally cleared up. I mean, my face cleared up, my neck, my arms, everything. It's really crazy. The scary thing is you don't really know about bad reactions to medicines until you take them. And yet again, like I said, right when we accepted this fight, I had just had a staph infection 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, and I had taken 10 days of Bactrim. And the staph cleared up probably like 3 days into it, but I finished antibiotic, like they say. So here we are the next week, and I'm starting to like notice these little spots on me, but they're nothing too serious. They're like at the bottom of my hair. I'm thinking they're ingrown hairs. And then I think it was Sunday, 3 weeks ago on a Sunday, I noticed that a little bit of my arm was and up inside. Go too warm outside.
Yeah, Florida, it's March. It's pretty much summer here. It's and it's already.
I was thinking sitting outside would be good, but I didn't realize it's still 90 out there. But So Monday comes around and my buildup is flaring up a little bit more. And now it's spread on my arm a little bit more. And then here we are on Tuesday and it's climbing up my arm. And then come Wednesday, it's just full blown on my chest, my neck. And it looks bad. It looks like I'm breaking out in a rash. I'm sitting there like, what the hell is going on? And then Saturday, it started getting on my face. And that was at the point where it was like, all right, it's time to go to the hospital. This is not subsiding. I did a telemed. Um, I did a telemed appointment on Wednesday after it had gotten pretty bad.
Yeah.
And she thought the staph was back because I did it with the same lady that I had last time, and I said, I don't think this is staph. I don't know what this is. So she gave me more Bactrim. So I take that for 2 more days, and then I go to the urgent care Saturday just because, like I said, it's progressively worse. Go to urgent care, and the lady who's taking care of me, she's looking at me and she's like, "This doesn't hurt." I was like, "No, it's just super sensitive." She's like, "It doesn't itch." Nope. She's like, "All right, I'm gonna go gather my thoughts because I haven't seen something like this in a while." And then come to find out, she tells me, she's like, "Okay, this looks like Steven Johnson syndrome. It's a bad reaction to Bactrim. It's like an autoimmune response."
Yeah.
Like it's basically, I need to send you to the ER because if it's in your blood, and it's starting to form around your mouth and your nose and your eyes, this is going to be like, this is a medical emergency. So send me to the ER. Send in the ER. Doctors are looking at me. Like, is anyone you're around? Does anyone you're around have this? No. No one I train with, no one I've been in contact with, nothing. No one's got this.
Yeah.
And so then he's like, okay, that's leading me to believe it. Like, you're showing all the signs of Steven Johnson, but you're showing the physical signs, but how you feel isn't in relation. Usually you have high fever, headache, all this stuff. And I mean, Saturday, I even sparred Saturday and I felt like shit, just absolutely dog tired, like cardio was wrecked. And I think that might have been me going back on the antibiotic, but basically they ran blood tests. It wasn't in my blood, but the doctor said, he's like, all right, yeah, I just think you've had a really bad autoimmune response. Your body probably still thought it was fighting bacteria and it started attacking your skin because that's what this looks like. We're going to put you on another, stop taking the Bactrim. We're going to give you doxycycline to heal you up. And here we are 2 weeks later, and I'm as good as new.
Dude, that's yeah, it looked bad. I mean, it felt like you were in questioning whether or not you were going to make this fight. There was a time
Yeah,
when I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this because you were heading to the ER that day when we talked.
yeah. We were supposed to talk that day, and I mean,
Yeah.
I started nervous just because, like, when the doctor's telling me that, oh, medical emergency, this is serious. And then I didn't know how I was gonna feel training, going through another week of antibiotics, and then it's like I really needed to push hard the last 2 weeks to figure how my cardio is going to be, and sure enough, I had some great sessions last week. I had a great sparring on Saturday. I had a great training this week, and I feel good to go. Cardio feels good. Because that's the biggest worry. That's one of my biggest weapons. I mean, you've seen me. I just, even when it's looking bad, you just got to keep coming forward sometimes. And yeah, it's I'm very glad I didn't have to pull out of the fight because me, my coach, my dad were all talking, but Vince thought if this was any more of a 50-50 fight, he said he would have pulled me without even thinking about it. But we were going to ride it out to the last possible minute, and everything ends up being okay. So here we are.
Have you used any of like the Banish or the Spencer's gel or any of that stuff that's for you put it on before you train to prevent staph, before you train, you put it on just in case you come in contact with staph in the gym that you can sort of fend that off. It's like wearing a rubber, only it actually works and doesn't make you feel terrible, doesn't take away all your sensitivity. Uh,
I have not seen that, so no. But it sounds good if it works better than a rubber.
yeah, right. The rubbers are terrible. I don't know why people ever use those things. Just take your shot and literally forget all those all the sex that I ruined with those things over the years, taking it serious. I didn't want to be the next Magic Johnson, and well, if I had to
Yeah,
do
yeah, right.
yeah. So there's a bunch of stuff that they're selling now. That's just it before you train. Give yourself a quick wash off on the key areas that you're going to be grabbing: your arms, your legs, your chest and neck and stuff that you come in skin and skin with. Usually you've got a pretty tight shirt on and shorts on, so you don't have to
Yeah.
do the whole body. And I'm good to go. Like it just kills the staph if you touch it. Does the gym that you're training at now, does it have a lot of window light in there, or is it pretty closed in the actual? It's a big gym, so it's probably difficult to get natural light into some of the depths of that gym, I would imagine.
We got a lot of natural light on one half of the gym, but
Yeah.
Vince definitely does a really good job cleaning the gym up. I mean, after every single class, mats are wiped down, gears disinfected, like every single class. So,
Yeah.
and I hate being dirty. Like I do. It's such a conundrum that I do this sport when I just absolutely dread being filthy. And I shower before practice, I shower after practice, and somehow this shit still finds me. Granted, I've only ever had staph 2 times. I had it once this year, and then I had it once last year. Last February, I had it, which is funny, full circle. I had it both Februarys. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I should invest in something that can still prevent it because it's better safe than sorry. But for training 8 years, only getting two type of skin infections like staph isn't so bad. I'd like to think, but
No, that's as good as it gets. But yeah, staff's so weird too. The first time you get it, because I've had it before, first time you get it, you don't know what the fuck it is. It doesn't look like it would be serious. Matter of fact, it looks like pretty much nothing. And then you're
yeah,
like, okay, this is something that could kill me. And it kind of sneaks up on you quick. It would be very easy for somebody to look at what it looks like, start to have the feelings for it, and try to power through it and ignore it until it was fatal. It'd be very easy especially for a guy who has, maybe a toughness job, which all MMA people have, but also, somebody who just is used to just ignoring things and just being like, fuck it, it'll work its way through. Don't want to do that with staph. Next thing you know, you're toxic and your body's shutting down on itself. So I'm glad you got it taken care of quickly. This is I mean, it's a serious problem in every MMA gym. Anytime you have people that are sweating and rolling in sweat all day as part of the curriculum, it's just goes with the territory.
yeah.
Um, I'm glad you got that taken care of though, man. That's great that you feel good for the fight. What do we know about your opponent? What tell us about Gus D'Angelo, other than the 6 year layoff? How is his style? I would imagine if he's got the gym now, his technique's going to be pretty on point. If he's training and teaching, he's probably going to be working on a lot of the basics and the technical components of those basics with his brother. But if he's got an older brother too, he's probably used to throwing those hands, I would imagine. Most older brothers beat the shit out of their younger brothers pretty consistently. So what's his style?
It's tough to see because there's not a lot of video on him, but from through the grapevine, people who watched him fight, a lot of people that I train with, like I said, Vince fought his brother, Alon fought his brother, and they've been on the same fight card with him. He comes to bang. I know this guy comes to fight.
Yeah.
He doesn't shy away. Like he'll meet you in the middle, but he's more of a stand up guy. It's hard to say if he's like sit there and flurry a bunch of shots at you. If he's gonna go one couple of shots at a time, just because I've only really watched one video on him, and that was his most recent fight this April. And that ended in this past April, and that ended in about a minute 50. So it's tough to really gauge everything off of that 1 minute 50 seconds span of that fight. So
Did he lose the fight?
Yeah, he got finished. I don't know, and I don't know if this was such a short notice thing for him. But I can figure there's that saying you're always as good as your last fight, but I'm gonna expect him to be as dangerous, if not more dangerous than me,
Yeah.
because that's gonna put more of a sense of urgency in myself to come and fight like I gotta. I'm not thinking about that guy that got finished in April. I'm thinking about the guy that I'm gonna fight this weekend, who's gonna be trying to finish me. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
it, it's
he's young. He's your age. He's 30 years old. So he's got a lot of life. If he wants to, he's got a lot of life in him. Six total fights. That's dude. I'm excited for you. Being 1-0 as a pro, you waited to turn pro. You had a fantastic pro debut. Now you're going to be in a big show, right up the street, and your weight's right. Your mind's right. Your body's now right after getting going through some shit to get there. Sometimes it's better to have it that way too, because sometimes you don't appreciate how good it feels to feel good. Then when you feel like shit and then you feel good before it, it just you almost feel like a superhero in some ways, not being crippled or sick or unable to train. Um, that's I think that's a big mental advantage. I mean, everything is a mental advantage if you use it as a mental advantage, and I think you're in a good position going into this fight, physically at 170, with confidence after the last one as well. That shit, all the best. This is big for you. I mean, going 2-0 as a pro, you start to rack up those wins and momentum. Things start to change real quick as a professional. Um,
yeah.
yeah, and on a card like this too, the promoters also probably know what you've been through with this, and knowing that you didn't pull out, you're going to be a very popular fighter because you're all of your fights are exciting. You don't have shitty, boring fights. They're exciting fights. You come to fight too. So this is big. So how are you feeling overall? You feeling good? Feeling confident?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel confident. I feel even better because I got to sleep in this morning. I slept into 10:30. I haven't done that in I don't know how long, just because I've been getting up early to get the one-on-one hit pads. I feel confident. Last Saturday was a really really good session. Emulating how I'm going to try to fight this fight, and the pace I was putting on felt good. I've been moving with a lot of really bigger guys. He's I probably have one of the best 170 fighters in one. I probably have one of the best wrestlers in Tampa in my gym, a Division 1 All-American guy. And this guy is a true 170er. I mean, like he comes down from 200 and
Oh
moving
wow.
with his big mass and stuff and takedowns from him, wrapping him up, things like that. And then I got another gentleman I train with who's coaches high school wrestling, has state champions under him, and just feeling these real big bodies on me that are like true 170ers, moving with them and feeling strong with them. That's what makes me feel confident that like, okay, I can push these guys around. And I mean, I fought at 170 for most of my amateur career too. So I know what it's like being in there with these big bodied guys. And I know we both made our descent from 170 from when we were fighting amateur, but I train with Forrest pretty much every weekend, every single weekend. And I like when I lock up with him, I sit there and tell myself like, okay, this guy's not going to be better than him. That's what I just tell myself anytime I'm training. Like when I fought Tommy, I told myself he's not going to be able to shoot at me like David is. David's a
Yeah.
Division 1 guy who I train with. And then I tell myself, okay, this guy's striking is not going to be as good as Bentley's. This guy's striking is not going to be as good as Jordan's. All these guys that I train with, I sit here and tell myself. So I just got to, if I can get my one ups on these guys, he's not going to get a one up on me. So my confidence is really high just because it does something different to you when you got very, very high level people around you that you can always train with
Yeah.
and you're just going to war with them and you tell yourself that these guys aren't as good as my teammates. I just got to go out there and perform like I do in here. Better though, actually, because I'm not gonna lie, I really pull my shots in the gym. I mean, I got to, and when I go out there, I finally let the hands fly and let them rip, And when I finally get to let them rip, I just like it's I've told you, there's nothing like feeling that your knuckles just sink into that glove, just sink into them and right into that glove. There's nothing like it. You just know when something lands good. You're like, oh, that felt good.
I've seen you. I've seen that joy in you when you start getting in there. You're like, oh yeah, this is fun. You love throwing those fucking hands and those exchanges. You can see that you actually really enjoy being in the pocket and throwing, and don't mind being hit either. It's not like you're going, I just like hitting him, but I'm not going to be hit. You'll take a couple shots to land your shots in exchanges. Um, Freaking crazy. Did you, by the way, did you end up seeing any of 298, UFC 298? I
That was
told you, wasn't a great.
O'Malley, right?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, we've seen a couple calf kick knockouts recently. We calf kick
Yeah.
KOs, I should say. I sent you the TKO from the PFL, and
Yeah.
there was another one. Junior Tafa got TKO'd in at 298. And it's pretty crazy, man. You're starting to see more of those. I love, you know me, when I send that to you, I was like jazzed up. I'm like, that guy, I gave him the double hit on the calf as well. Double punch right before the calf kick that sent him down for good. So try to think when you land you feel those knuckles, just be like, I'm gonna throw a right kick to the calf just to just that.
You want to know something? My coach has all of us just religiously drilling the calf kick. When we're doing our one-on-ones, we'll spend probably 5 minutes just drilling the calf kick, just drilling combos into the calf kick. And I mean, dude, like we all throw it, and it's to the point where like I know it's coming. I know some of my teammates are gonna throw this shit, and when it hits, it's like, oh, that did not feel good. And I can see it on them when I hit them on it too, when they just like, there's two reactions they get. Either they stand there stiff or they really lean into it and just back up very labored. That's the two reactions. And then my reactions are kind of the same. It's like I stand there and try to like walk it off. It's like, oh, that shit hurt. That shit hurt bad.
My For those people out there that haven't been calf kicked, my 3-year-old. So have you ever heard? You ever watched a Pink Panther,
Oh
where
yeah.
he has Kato attack him on the fly? So I attack my son randomly just to get him used to being attacked, and he always attacks me back. The other day he landed a kick. His first thing he does is start kicking my calves. He's little. He got me good, like kicked me really good on the inside of the calf, but he hit a mini nerve, and I went, motherfucker, that hurt. Like it was a 3-year-old that just kicked me. It's not that hard of a kick, it's a 3-year-old kick. And I went, that actually, I felt it. I was like, I wouldn't want to be hit by that 3, 4 times in a row. I was fine with one, but like man, that's when you have an adult kick you, it's a whole different thing. If an adult had hit me right where he hit me, I might not have been able to take that next step. It was a perfect little shot, and I'm like, this is a dangerous fucking weapon. These kicks are mean.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. Seems like you're with the right coach and the right team. These it seems like your joy's back, but your game's getting better, your striking's getting better. It's more well-rounded. I mean, it seems like you're really blossoming now. Which is, talk about perfect timing, right?
Yeah,
Somebody's
right.
watching your somebody's watching your amateur film and going, okay, I know what this guy is, and they step in the ring with you. It's not the same fighter anymore.
And
Very.
that was a big thing that Tommy mentioned. Tommy thought we were going to go out there and wrestle. He thought we were going to get in a grappling match, and he's like, I had no answer for what you showed up with.
Yeah.
And that was that my last amateur fight that I fought in Fort Myers. I don't know if you got to catch that one. I had like 7 takedowns. Just
Yeah.
um, Harry, even after the fight, we were talking, and he was like, "Man, I knew you were going to be coming hard with the wrestling." He's like, "But last night I watched her fight with Marquez, and he's like, I started fucking me up." He's like, I started just getting too. I was thinking all night about it, like, shit. What if he does come to strike? What if he does come to strike? You know, and when when I came to fight Tommy, there was no intention on grappling with him. Like I said, I know how high level his jujitsu is. I'm a pretty high
Yeah.
level jujitsu too, but I mean,
It was
he had me
dangerous.
in trouble. two times.
Yeah.
But I knew Eric after I dropped him the second time on the fence. In my head, as he had the armbar, I was like, just escape. If you escape, you win the fight because he's got no answer for you.
Yeah.
And I could hear my coach, I could hear Vince because when I had escaped the armbar, we were in kind of a weird position, and Vince is screaming at me, "Darren, get the fuck up! Don't lay there. You're letting him rest." And I'm like, he's like, "You're not tired," and I'm like, "I'm not tired. I need to get up." So I just pushed his leg off, got up, and um, Kevin, I forget Kevin's last name, the ref who's ref my fight. That's the guy who ref my fight against Forrest. And he refs every time, like when he's a Florida State Athletic Commission referee. So anytime UFC or something comes to Florida, he's refing. And he looked at me and I looked at him. He's like, "You want him up?" And I looked at him. I was like, "Tell him to get up." that's why. That's why. Like after the midpoint of the fight, I just kept dropping Tommy, and I'd look at Kevin. I'm like, "Kevin, tell him get up."
Yeah.
And Kevin defense, he was like, Vince came in the cage after I'd won him back. How much fucking more did you want to see for you to stop this fight? He's like, listen, he's like, the only reason I didn't stop the fight is because he's like, be honest with me, how tight was that armbar? I was like, if I was in the gym, I'm tapping. And he's like,
Yeah.
that's the only reason I didn't stop the fight. He's like, he was still such a threat on the bottom. I mean, he's like, I just didn't know. He's like, I didn't know how much is still going to be there. But after I kneed him in the chest and ground and pounded him, it was a wrap. But I mean, you're right. The gym change, everything that we drilled going into that fight, I hit in that fight. Every
Yeah.
single thing we drilled, I hit in that fight. Just the fucking body work, um, the combinations, the counter to the front kick. I mean, I just sidestepped and threw that cross, and then he showed it on his face, and I ran in big left body hook and jabbing and circling it to my left hook, and
Yeah.
just the
Your
level change.
your lateral movement and level changes were significantly improved in that fight, like significantly. You were circling, you were picking good spots, you were throwing from good angles, and you were exchanging and not just staying. You were staying in when you were, when you should, and getting out when you should. You were making good decisions in there. So it was exciting to see. It's always nice to see somebody, make big improvements. And it'd be one thing if it were just a big improvement with the same team. It's a whole different team, which means that those improvements are going to continue, because you're just now getting used to these guys and training with them. It hadn't even been that long. It's been what, a year, something like that.
Yeah, it'll be a year in June. It'll be a
Yeah.
year in June, and I've won my two fights that I've fought with Kaizen in pretty dominant fashion. I haven't really taken a lot of damage in either fight, but knock on wood, I'm gonna try to keep it that way. I know not everything can be pretty, and we've understood that. We're probably gonna eat some shots in this fight. Um, that's just the way that this ball goes. You get in there, you got to get in the fire sometimes. So.
Tell your opponent that your nose has been broken so many times, it doesn't do shit to you anymore. You don't give a fuck. You barely have
Yeah.
a nose anymore.
Oh my god! Sometimes when I start feeling it in my teeth, then I'm like, all right, I don't like getting hit no more.
Yeah, it's true. That's it. The teeth that's a whole different animal. Do you have like a special guard, like a special, is there some company that you guys have found that you're comfortable with that does a better mouth guard? Because I mean, it's strange to sound, but mouth guard technology has improved a little bit. I don't think it's improved as much as some other things, but from the time we're kids where you just boil it and put it in your mouth and squeeze it for the custom, it's probably not that much different, right? But it's a little bit better, I would imagine.
Yeah, honestly, I got this mouthpiece from Venom that
Yeah.
is formed to my teeth. So when you look at it from the top, you can see all my teeth imprints on it. Fits like a glove. I can talk with it in. And I was an idiot. I'd go buy the ones at like Dick's Sporting Goods. They'd be for like football almost, and they were just more of like a little bite.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't sink into my teeth. If I was talking with it, it's popping out of my mouth. And man, I fought all my amateur career with stupid ones like that, and I finally get this new mouthpiece, and it's like I got it in. I did the bite, let it form on my teeth, and this thing's freaking awesome.
Yeah, to
It's like
hold
I
it.
can, it's pretty much glued to the top of my mouth, and I like it's got enough cushion to where when it's time to bite down, I can bite down on it good, and it stays in well.
Yeah, I thought you were when you said you were fighting this weekend. I was like, damn, that because I knew you had a fight coming up. There's a big fight card at Florida Fairgrounds coming up in early April, I think. Are you aware of this?
It's yeah, I think it's a bare knuckle thing going on. Yeah,
It's I didn't even know they did fights at the Florida Fairground. But yeah, they're starting to pull all these shows together around here. So the sport in Florida has really taken off. And I think we're going to see more and more things happen, throughout but this is fantastic, man. I'm happy for you. You look like you're in great shape. You look like you're mentally ready. And let's catch up after and go through all the stuff. I'm going to pull up this one fight. That's one fight that we have of Gus D'Angelo and take a look. Um, but yeah, I'm excited. Get your celebration speech together. Get a good one going.
yeah. I trust me. I've taken your advice well, and I am like jotting down what I'm gonna say because I have like 3 points I want to nail on. My first one's going to be my friend Matt just had a kid, and I'm going to shout out to him and his wife because he's like, "I got my baby on the weekend. You're going to get this win," and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna say dedicate this win to your newborn. So that's going to be the first thing I say, and I got a couple other things I'm brainstorming how to spit them out quickly.
That's awesome. I mean, that's the type of stuff. It's loyalty to other people and that type of humility. I mean, that's one of the things that's going to take you far as your personality, just being yourself. You don't have to do the Colby Covington and start developing an entirely different personality. And telling people going after people's wives for being cucks, which I do. I by the way, it was a pretty fucking funny video. But
Colin,
they are and Strickland. This poor Ian Gary's just getting it from all. He's getting it
yeah,
from all sides. Everybody's
he's
just
got, he's got two of the biggest shit talkers coming after him. It's like, oh, great.
and his wife's going on and talking shit about Strickland. And Strickland's
Yeah,
like, look, I don't even want to say your name. I'm just gonna call you Succubus because you don't say demons' names. It gives them strength. The only thing you've ever done in your entire life is sleep with famous people. That's all you're good for, Succubus. And I'm going, God damn it. You are messing with the wrong two shit talkers with Covington. And what are you gonna do next? Start attacking Chael Sonnen and just start talking shit to him to
coming
see
after
if you
OG.
go after Conor McGregor and Chael Sonnen while you're at it. Let's see if you can get all four of the best shit talkers ever to come after you at the
Yeah,
exact same time.
serious.
Uh, well, man, I'm very happy for you. God bless you, and God bless your performance, your health, everything. And let's catch up when you're done. I'm gonna get this posted up, and your opponent. Your opponent. Good luck to your opponent as well in his own way, and let's reconvene after we have a chance to evaluate what happens on Saturday.
Definitely, brother. It was good talking to you. Good catching up with you. It's been too long. It's been too long, but always
Let's
good.
start. Let's start doing more of these because we still have a lot. We have 300 coming up, and
Yeah,
and you have UFC fans, but UFC fans are way smarter than boxing fans. Period. But there's always these people that are they just can't be happy. They're miserable about it. They're sitting there just going, why is this guy on the card? And this fight sucks. And I mean, I'm going, it's a fucking great card. I mean, not
almost every single fight on there could be a headline. Almost every single fight could headline.
every single person on there is either a potential champ, an ex-champ, or a headliner, or just a fantastic. I mean, people are, and again, I understand the logic behind it, but people being mad about the Gagey fight, and they're just mad that the matchup's happening, and I'm going, look, I get it that you think that it's a no win for him because it's two great fighters that are just going to be beating the shit out of each other with no real goal to set up, a championship fight. but these are just two fucking bad motherfuckers that are okay fighting each other. That sometimes it doesn't have to be more than that. Um, it doesn't have to be, some great storyline or this is going to set up this fight or that fight. Sometimes it's just two people that are being paid a lot of money to kick the shit out of each other. I don't know. There's a lot of that sort of stuff. Have you been hearing a lot of the bitching about UFC 300?
Yeah, everyone was not happy about Jamal Hill fighting Alex as the headliner. And I think that's a cool fight. I mean, if
Fucking,
Alex solidifies the defense, it's crazy.
I think it is a fantastic fight. Um,
Yeah.
and and I don't know what other fights are on there that are intriguing to you.
There's the Oliveira and Armin Sarukian.
Mm.
That's going to be big for if Armin gets past Charles. It's going to be like, okay. Now you have Poirier, Gaethje, and Sarukian in the mix to fight Islam, and Charles is out. But if Charles wins, I don't think you deny him again. I mean, after going out there, stopping Beneil. If he goes out there and stops Armin, because Armin's hot, I think you got to give him the title shot, and then Dustin can have the winner. But see, the lightweight is just so freaking. It's just such a mess right now because it's like, what direction do you go? You got Gaethje, who's almost out of the picture with Holloway right now, which is cool, which is fine. They're gonna do that fight, like you said. That's more of like the people's fight. But you got
Yeah,
Dustin who just got BSD in incredible fashion. You got Charles and Armin who could potentially fight Islam next. It's tough. It's maybe Dustin. Go
people are
ahead.
pissed off about Bo Nickel. They were like, how the fuck is Bo Nickel on this card ahead of and naming ex champions? And I'm going, you motherfuckers. I mean, Bo Nickel is likely, considering where he is, on a path to be a champion at 185. He's or the 180, whatever. Is he fighting 185, right? He's 185?
He's probably the best wrestler in that division, not non-negotiable.
Without question. And, shown that when he hits you, you fall down. He's shown
Yep.
heavy, even though he's got like a year and a half or 2 years of jujitsu, barely training, for this stuff, had never fought with hands ever, and goes in and just starts flatlining people with his hands once he starts. This is a guy that's just scratching a surface for potential and could easily continue to be a monster. And I want to see more of it. He's just been
Yeah.
destroying people like easily. So I'd like to see him against somebody like Cody. But that's how stacked the card is he's the opener on the main card and could easily be the 185 champ 2 years from now and hold
Okay.
that for. He's young, he's a baby. And people are still pissed off about it. And I'm going, you guys, maybe it's just maybe I think maybe Dana White set the expectation so high that no matter what happened on that card, people are going to be mad. Anytime I get to watch Max Holloway fight or Justin Gaethje fight, I'm in for a treat. I'm always happy to watch Holloway teach people how to fight mid-fight. It's one of
Yeah.
my favorite things in the world. No, put your hands up like this. Block the punch like this. All right, good. Let's keep going. I mean, you talk about one of the best people in the sport as far as a human being. Holloway, I've never met him, but he certainly seems like one of those lovable guys. He's got that Hawaiian attitude where he's just, chill about everything. Everything's hang loose and until he gets in that ring, then he'll fight anybody at any time. I think one of his first, I think he'd been training for like 2 weeks when he took his first fight. He was
Yeah.
just yeah.
Max's training history is very weird because the guy, it reminds me of Volk a little bit. Just guys who just popped into the sport kind of later in their life and then just ended up being fucking really good. Which shows you don't really have to be training since an infant to fucking be good. Because you see it all the time now. You see people who step into the sport late and they have great success. They just if you're I feel like if you are an athletic individual and you dedicate the time to learning it, you can definitely get to the top level. Look at Volk, a rugby player. Then he goes into MMA late in his life. The guy is a 5-time world champion. Holloway too, same thing.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I'm looking at Bobby Green, Jim Miller. I mean, you know that's going to be a fun fight. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Open, it's crazy.
Green, that last knockout was brutal of Bobby. It looked like it could almost be career ending, and the ref seemed to hate Bobby Green and let him just kick kid a few extra times. I didn't like seeing that. Um, even the women's fight, Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez, is going to be a nasty fight.
Andrade is one of those girls who can turn. It probably hits harder than most guys who fight at 125.
Yeah, Holly Holm, Kayla Harrison. I mean, you're talking about a first ballot Hall of Famer against, she's probably, I would imagine Holm's probably going to be the underdog in that fight
Yeah,
versus Harrison.
I think this is going to be. I think Kayla versus Holm is going to be what everyone thought Rousey versus Holm was going to be. I think Kayla just can steamroll her.
Yeah, I mean, but again, you're talking about a legend. The name of that typically that could be a non-pay-per-view headliner fight or a pay-per-view, potential second or third fight from the top.
Agreed.
In a typical card, and it's barely going to be on this card. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just stacked. So I'm excited, man. That's a lot of good stuff. Let's reconvene after. Let's do the full preview of that after you've had time. Stay focused. Knock off your last couple of pounds without suffering or feeling like you're close to death. And put on some white makeup when you go up there. Look all sickly for your opponent. Make him feel good about himself.
Hey, that's what happened last time. Tommy's sitting there. We're in line to do medicals. He walks up to me. I'm sitting there hunching over, face sunken. I'm like, he's like, you look a little gaunt, buddy. And I'm like, yeah, I do. I really fucking do. I'm like, I can't even stand up straight. I'm fucking feel like I'm cramping right now.
That's one of the fun things about the sport is a lot of the guys that you're fought, including Black Clover, Tommy, that you're in touch with after. It's a
Yeah.
it's a bond after the fact. And I got to tell you, I was kind of hoping I'd see that happen with Cheeto and O'Malley, and it really hasn't happened with Cheeto and O'Malley. Because two of the more entertaining people. I mean, Cheeto's hilarious and O'Malley is hilarious too in their own way. They're very fun to either root for or against. I root for both, but there's no real love lost there. They still seem to dislike each other, which was kind of weird after you go through that fight. Cheeto saying if it were to the death, they'd be having a funeral. And T does kind of have a point. He landed a really good body shot at the very end of that fight. And O'Malley just pieced him up for 5 rounds. Other than that,
Yeah, just cleanly beat him up the whole fight.
2 knees to the jaw. Cheeto Vera's fucking jaw is not human. He's never been knocked down, never been knocked out, and he took 2 shots back to back that would have flatlined 99% of the people in the world, and stayed on his feet. His face was all fucked up, and he looked like an entirely different human. He looked like he was in makeup to be the next Passion of the Christ for a Jesus scene after that fight was over, because he almost came in Jesus like with that long hair,
Okay.
disheveled, and by the end of it, he looked like Jesus right before he was nailed up there, and they started throwing stuff at him. He was fucked up, like he'd been beaten real good, but it didn't stop him from talking shit. He's still out there talking shit.
Yeah, and St. O'Malley greased up and stuff, and Sean's going back and forth with them again. I think they hate each other even more now.
Yeah, which is really weird considering usually something like that happens, you have respect for each other. You would think Cheetah would have tremendous respect for Sean's ability as a fighter, because Sean really did put on a striking master class in that fight, and that Sean would have incredible respect for Cheeto's resilience, toughness, jaw, and the fact that he was still able to hurt him that late in the fight. I mean, both guys should have earned each other's respect to the point where they go, okay, I can't talk badly about this motherfucker ever again for any reason. That he belongs in the division. I'm glad I don't have to fight him again because, no one likes to fight a Terminator, even if you're piecing them up. It's not fun. They hate each other.
Yeah, you hate to see it. I mean, even you kind of saw with Kamaru after he fought Colby for the second time that they were all right. Yeah, like you could hear Colby in the mic. I'm doing this just to get us paid, right, brother? So there's no love lost. And Kamaru telling him, I know, bro. So, but like then you got Colby and Masvidal, and those guys just hate each other. There's no. I don't know if I'd ever have resent like that for an opponent after a fight. Like, I mean, Forrest and I, we're best friends. He was texting me earlier today, asking me how I'm feeling, how I'm doing, and all that stuff. And I train every weekend with that guy now. And I mean, Eric, we're really like Rocky and Apollo Creed now. It's crazy what us fighting did because after sparring Saturday morning, and we have my coach does his talks to all of us. We all dap up and we say good job. Guess who gets back on the mat for 3 more rounds with each other? Me and Forrest. Three more 5-minute rounds. Like me and that guy push each other every single weekend. And he's got a huge fight coming up in April. I don't know if you saw. He's fighting Nick Vicario for the CFFC lightweight title, for the interim lightweight title. So I mean, I'm pushing this guy, trying to make sure he's ready for that fight because that could be life changing for him.
Shit, if you were just to pull in all the anime, UFC, or MMA fighters together, there'd be a hell of a collection. There's a lot of you'd have Mike Davis, Beast Boy Davis, you guys, you'd have obviously you'd have shit, yeah, you'd have Stylebender, you'd
Yep.
have, I mean, there's a bunch. It's like everybody likes anime. Or they grow up watching ninja shit cartoons and say, I want to be a ninja in real life. And there's a whole slew of them out there. So when you guys both were in anime, I'm like, watch these two fuckers be best friends. What just watch. It's gonna happen. That's
And
awesome,
it,
man. Seemed like a great dude. He really did. So
yeah,
how many pro fights does he have so far? What's he been up to?
he's 4-0. He his last fight was right in Tampa. And CFFC, when you mentioned the fairgrounds, CFFC has been coming and doing events at the fairgrounds. That was his last fight in I want to say that one was in November.
Yeah.
That was his last one, and he went out there, he got another finish, and without going too into detail, he sat back and waited for the right opportunity, and here we are. The guy's got his interim title fight. This is the in this sport you really want to be the business side of the sport. You really want to take a step back, let you go out there, fight these fights that aren't easy, but like that are winnable for you. That you're not going to go out there and have to go to war for, and then when the time comes, it's time for that 50-50 fight. And he was waiting for that time to come, and here it is. He's fighting a very, very dangerous opponent, but I got full faith that he can defeat him. I got full faith that he can win and he can get that 5-0 record, CFFC interim champion, and just only up from there. I keep telling him every time, like, man, you can change your life with this fight. This fight can change your life. It's time to make
Yeah.
it happen.
He's been on that trajectory, and 5-0 with a title like that, puts him on the radar for the UFC or wherever he wants to go. Now there's options too. So yeah, send him my best. We'll wish him luck on the next one. Talk about that when it happens. In the meantime, focus on what you have in front of you. Good luck on Saturday, and let's reconvene as soon as you're done. Keep me posted on how it went, and if there's a way to watch it, I'll be watching.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. They just a $25 price for once for the pay-per-view, thankfully. So
It's a fucking cake. The cheapest, best money I've ever spent. All right, brother. I love you, man. My best to the wife, and we'll catch up soon.
man, be safe, brother. Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Later.